Hey there, welcome to video number 4 in my series on mastering the fretboard. The last video we talked about or introduced octave shapes, starting with what we call the C form and the A form, which are two different finger shapes that you play on the neck, with the roots being on the fifth string. So again, to recap, for example, let's say we're playing an F at the 5th string, 8th fret. The C form octave of that would be the 8th fret 5th string and the 6th fret 2nd string. And then we also have the A form, which is connected to that by the note on the 5th string, which again, F at the 8th fret and on the 5th string, and F on the 3rd string 10th fret. Both of those octave shapes are F. This week we're going to introduce the G form and the E form, which have their roots starting on the 6th string. So starting out with the G form, we're going to play a C octave. Actually, it's 2 octaves in one pattern here. So starting with the C at the 8th fret on the 6th string. An octave higher than that, we have C on the 3rd string at the 5th fret. And then we also have C at the 8th fret on the 1st string. And if we keep that finger pattern and let's say slide it up to E, 12th fret on the 6th string, 9th fret on the 3rd string, and 12th fret on the 1st string, we have E, E, and E. E, an octave above that, and an octave above that. The shape of my fingers didn't move from where I played it down at C. So anywhere I play that on the neck, my dog's decided to scratch himself, and that's that jingling noise that you hear from his collar. Stop that. Stop! So, anyways, to play that pattern or practice that pattern, the first way to practice it would be to start on the with just one form, the G form, again following our circle of fifths, which goes C, G, D, A, E, B, G flat or F sharp, D flat or C sharp, A flat or G sharp, E flat or D sharp, B flat or A sharp, finally ending on F. So to follow that sequence of notes, let's start with C. We have C, G form at the 8th fret 6th string, 5th fret 3rd string, and 8th fret 1st string. Move on to the G octaves, G form, at the 15th fret 6th string, and the 12th fret on the 3rd string, and the 15th fret on the 3rd string. We could also play that down in the open position, G at the 3rd fret on the 6th string, and open 3rd string, G, and the 3rd fret on the 1st string, also G. Moving on to D at the 10th fret on the 6th string, 7th fret on the 3rd string, and 10th fret on the 1st string. And then we have A at the 5th fret on the 6th string, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and the 5th fret on the 1st string. Moving on to E at the 12th fret 6th string, 9th fret 3rd string, 12th fret 1st string. Down to B, 7th fret, 6th string, 4th fret 3rd string, and the 7th fret on the 1st string. And continue on through that circle of fifths, playing that one pattern up and down the neck until you've gone all the way around the circle or played all the 12 tones I gave you there. The other form I'm going to give you is the E form, which connects to that G form. So say we had the G form, C at the 8th fret 6th string, and the 5th fret on the 3rd string, and the 8th fret on the 1st string. That pattern is connected to the E form. We're going to again start with the 8th fret on the 6th string, but this time play with our index finger. And then we have at the 10th fret on the 4th string, we also have the C. And then finally on the 8th fret on the 1st string, we also have C. Bring that down to G at the 3rd fret on the 6th string, 5th fret on the 4th string, and 3rd fret on the 1st string. Up to D at the 10th fret 6th string, 12th fret on the 4th string, and 10th fret on the 1st string. Down to A at the 5th fret 6th string, 7th fret 4th string, 5th fret 1st string. up to E, 12th fret 6th string, 14th fret 4th string, 12th fret on the 1st string, down to B, 7th fret on the 6th string, 9th fret on the 4th string, and 7th fret on the 1st string. And again, continue through the circle of fifths there. Again, practicing that particular pattern in a linear fashion. So starting out, we have C, oops, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, etc. through the circle of fifths. Now the other way to practice this would be to work on connecting the two shapes together. So starting with C major with the G form, connected to the C form, E form C, down to G, that's a G form G, and then the E form of G, onto D, G form, and D, E form, then A, G form, A, E form, E, G form, E, E form, B, G form, B, E form, and again continuing through the circle of fifths. So not only is playing these octave shapes up and down the neck reinforcing your knowledge of the individual notes on the neck, it's also starting to introduce you to how patterns connect together. We'll be getting into what is commonly called the caged system, which is going to use a C form, an A form, a G form, an E form, and a D form, which will cover the octave shapes for the D form next week. Once we have the octave shapes down, we'll move on in the video after the next one. We'll get into chords. So we'll cover the C form chord, the A form chord, the G form chord, E form chord, D form chord. Then get into the actual scale patterns, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff after that we'll cover. One thing we want to keep in mind is with the series here, we're starting to learn patterns, or the box patterns as some players call them. Ultimately, starting out, if you're kind of new or intermediate, you find that the shapes get a little restrictive. You find all your licks being contained within a certain pattern. Through continuing with the series and really making an effort to learn this stuff, you'll learn how these shapes connect to each other, and how to seamlessly move from one pattern to another one anywhere on the neck in any key, which through practice will get to a point where you kind of stop seeing the neck as connected individual patterns and start seeing it as just one big picture, so to speak, able to find your way up and down the neck without thinking about patterns, and learning to use your ear more to figure out where you're going, whether you're on a single string or crossing strings or what have you. One other way that you can kind of practice this, just to kind of reinforce what we did last video and what we learned this video, we could take all four shapes. So let's start with C major, C form, down here at the 5th fret on the, or 3rd fret on the 5th string and 1st fret on the 2nd string. That is connected to the A form at the 3rd fret on the 5th string and the 5th fret on the 3rd string. And that A form is connected to the G form of C with that note on the 3rd string, which is C, and then we also had the C at the 8th fret on the 1st and 6th string. And then finally we had the E form, which is at the 8th fret on the 6th string, 10th fret on the 4th string, and the 8th fret on the 1st string. So connecting those, C, C form, C, A form, C, G form, and C, E form. And And next week again we'll cover the D form. So that's going to cover it for this week. Again, next week we'll cover the D form. We'll recap all 5 shapes. And in videos to follow, we'll start getting into some chord shapes and scale shapes, arpeggios, a little bit of ear training with intervals, and we'll continue from there. So hope this is helping you out. Any questions, send me a message. Thanks.